Hello, Liverpool fans. This is just another video to talk about the unbelievable draw that happened yesterday at the Emirates Stadium last night. Uh, looking at the game, I mean, we were so comfortable when it was 2-0. We got the first goal, in the midway through the first half. A great little, dink from Salah, which got a little deflection off Koscielny and laid into the path of Coutinho, and he somehow scooped the header over Czech's arms, and it was 1-0. It's a good start to the game because the first 15-20 minutes was not very good, and yeah, we took the lead, and then after that it was total domination. I mean, Liverpool was so on top in the game, it was untrue. I mean, I was thinking that Arsenal was some kind of Sunday League team on their own patch. They looked like an amateur team, They looked like they were lost. Like they were lost in the forest or something. They didn't know where they were going, what they were doing. They didn't know how to play against us. They lost all confidence within seconds of conceding the goal, and it was there for the taking. If Liverpool had just been a bit more serious, a bit more clinical up front, Mane, for God's sake. Salah gets through, he has a strike, saved by Czech, and then all Mane has to do is just control the ball and put it into the back of the net. And what does he try and do? He tries to do an overhead kick. What is the matter with Mane nowadays? I don't understand what's going on with him. There's something wrong with him. Is it his confidence, or is it he's trying to do things, better than he should be doing, trying to show off? You don't need to. Just score the goal. Just put it into the back of the net. You don't need to make all these, silly overhead kicks and flicks and touches and this and that. Just finish the game off, for God's sake. Because we know Liverpool. This happens to us all the time. Every time that we try and be clever, every time that we try and, instead of scoring goals, we're just mucking about. We're just trying to show off. And then what happens in the end? It comes back to bite us on the arse. And that's exactly what happened in the second half, And that's even worse, the second half. I mean, the first half was pretty good considered to the second half, in comparison to the first half, because the first half we dominated Arsenal, but the second half was just all over the place. I mean, from going 2-0 up, early in the second half, Salah making a great run into the middle of Arsenal's defence, and then he's put through by Firmino, who magnificently found him. I thought that he'd taken the ball onto the side of the pitch, and they were just gonna defend, and we get a throw in from it. But somehow he managed to swivel and then play the pass into Salah's path, and he takes it on. He goes forward and he scores the goal. With the help of a little deflection off the Arsenal defender. I think it was Mustafi. Yeah, Mustafi. It becomes 2-0. In the blink of an eye. And you're thinking, this is going to be another Bournemouth. We're going to score 3 or 4 again. And within the space of 5 minutes, 4.5, 5 minutes, we find ourselves 3-2 behind to bloody Arsenal. And they haven't even been in the game, for God's sake. They didn't even have a decent shot up until that time in the game. How is it that Liverpool allow teams that haven't actually dominated them to score goals and then get into the lead against Liverpool? How is that possible? Football that I used to know is when you go 2-0 up, you win that game. You dominate the game. You keep the ball, control the tempo of the game, and just manage the game. See it out. Why are we still trying to go forwards when we're 2-0 up? It just doesn't make any sense. And to make it worse, after the game, Klopp comes out and he says, we don't have any defensive mistakes. We didn't make any defensive mistakes. Are you for real, Jurgen? Are you taking the piss out of us now, Liverpool fans? How can you not make any mistakes? Your goalkeeper made a bloody mistake for the second goal. All right, the first goal was, it was a cross into the area, and young Gomez, maybe he lost his man. Maybe he hasn't got the experience. Maybe it was just a moment that he switched off, and Sanchez got in front of him and he scored the header. So you're thinking 2-1, all right, we can still do this. We can still win this game. We've still got a chance to win this game. But no, this is Liverpool. We have to make everything difficult for ourselves, don't we? We have to make the game as enjoyable as possible for the fans, for the neutral fans, and we have to just struggle to get over the line. This is what we've been doing for the past 4 years, 5 years, Even in the 13-14 season, where we were going for the championship, for the title, we were conceding goals all over the place in defence. You know, it was like we were trying to make it more exciting for the opposition. You know, for the other teams in the league, and then we would eventually go on and win the game. But when you came out of the game watching Liverpool, you'd be sweating. You know, you'd be stressed. Your heart would be pumping because we just make everything so difficult for ourselves. And that's exactly what they did yesterday, last night. You know. And from being 2-0 up, relatively comfortable, under hardly any pressure at all, any problems at the back, we've conceded 3 goals in 4.5 minutes, and the second goal was just a bloody comedy. I mean, Simon Mignolet, for God's sake, you're supposed to be an international goalkeeper for Belgium. You know, how can you concede these kind of goals? Instead of using double fist to push the ball away, he's putting one arm up and it smashes onto his arm and deflects into the back of the goal, into the net. You know, these are childish errors from Mignolet. We can't allow this to happen at Liverpool Football Club anymore. You know, just put in Danny Ward, for God's sake. You know, if Mignolet and Karius are no good, then we just have to give the youngsters his chance now, Danny Ward, because he did pretty well when he played on loan at Aberdeen. And then he played at Huddersfield Town. He did pretty well in goal. He saved a lot of shots. He saved penalties. So I don't understand what makes Mignolet and Karius better than Danny Ward. And Klopp doesn't even take him into the squad. And he's got that lemon sitting there. Karius. He's another lemon, another idiot. My God, Liverpool. Sometimes I just want to give up. Watching Liverpool, because every time that we get excited, every time that we think we're going to push on and we're going to actually do something in the league, we end up, fucking it up, excuse my language. We end up, making mistakes, and then we lose the game or we draw the game. 8 draws, man, in 19 games. 8 draws. It's not good enough for Liverpool. And of these 8 games, I think there was a statistic I read somewhere on Twitter that we were in front. In 6 of the 8 games that we've drawn, we were leading the game. So what does that tell you about our game management? What does that tell you about our mentality? It's so weak, so poor. We can't carry on with this team anymore. I feel sorry for the front four, for Mane, for Salah, for Coutinho and Firmino. Because all their effort, all their hard work, all their quality going forwards, and the goals that they score is all going to waste. Because of our dodgy defence and our rubbish goalkeepers. They're both rubbish. Don't even get me started on Karius. I don't want to see him anywhere near the team. He's just another young, apparently young, up-and-coming young goalkeeper that we bought, that we thought was going to have an impact in our goal. And look at the mistakes he made last season when we needed him the most. In the Bournemouth game, in the game after that against West Ham, he conceded 6 goals in 2 games. Against Bournemouth and West Ham. Karius, he's supposed to be trying to get into the Liverpool first team, and he just looks shaky. He just looks devoid of confidence. Every time I see him as well, I'm panicking. I'm shitting myself because there's the mistake is just around the corner with these goalkeepers. At any given moment in a game, they can just make a massive clanger and we concede the goal. And that's what Mignolet did yesterday. And you can tell the frustration because he goes and kicks the goalpost after he concedes the goal, but it's too late. The game is gone, and then we go behind because the morale of the team is just 0 at that moment in time. The morale of the team was on the floor, the confidence, and we're fortunate that we got out of there with a draw in the end. Firmino somehow, he gets a pass from Emre Can in midfield and he picks him out brilliantly with a quick one pass, and then Firmino just turns, swivels and smashes it towards goal. And because Cech gets an arm to it and it bounces off his arm and it loops over him and it goes into the back of the net and it's 3-3. And you're thinking we've still got 20 minutes to win the game. But with Liverpool, the thing is, every time we go forwards, we leave massive gaps at the back. So it's not even a good idea to attack anymore when the game is 3-3, because as soon as we get caught, we're going to concede again. We're going to concede again. It's going to be 4 or 5 in the end. It's going to be another Manchester City. And that's exactly what happens. You know, what is going on at this club anymore, man? I don't know what is going on. Klopp has lost the plot, you know. I said he's a decent manager. I said that he's got us playing better attacking football. But how can you go through 3 years as manager of this club and you can't sort out the bloody defence? You know, what does he do? What does he do during the training sessions? Does he not actually think that we have a problem in defence or in the goalkeeping department? Does he not see these things happening on the pitch? Or are we just overreacting, the Liverpool fans? I don't think we're overreacting. I'm certainly not overreacting. I always give people the chance to prove themselves to me. You know, I'm not the manager. I'm a supporter of Liverpool Football Club. I have been for 29 years. But when you watch them concede these bloody goals, it just makes you furious, you know. It just infuriates me that they're so stupid. And they're so mentally weak and they lose the game. They draw the game when they should be winning. It's not as if we played badly. We were dominating the game at 2-0. So how can you crumble so easily, Liverpool? Why? Why do we crumble so easily? Why do we fall apart? This is a big problem for Liverpool going into the rest of the season because, you know, we're not going to win anything. We're not going to do anything in the Champions League as well. Imagine if we come up against, you know, let's say Barca or Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain in the quarterfinals, and you give them these amount of chances, they're going to absolutely wallop us. They're going to put us to the sword. You think you're going to win the Champions League with this team? Are you taking the piss? For fuck's sake. We're not going to win jack shit. We'll be lucky if we get to the quarterfinal. Firstly, we have to get past Porto first, and then that's not even going to be an easy game for Liverpool. In Portugal, they'll be bombarding us. They'll be putting us under pressure. You know, don't even think that we're going to go there and win the game. It's only we're fortunate that the second leg is at Anfield. If we can get a draw in the first leg, or we can snatch a 1-0 win, 2-1, we're not even capable of doing that though. Every time we take the lead in an away game, you know, we've proved it in the league as well. We throw it away. We allow the opposition to come back and to get a draw or to win the game. You know, so what gives us this confidence that we're going to win against Porto? It's not even guaranteed. I feel the only chance we've got of silverware is the FA Cup, you know. And even now we've got Everton to play in the third round. That's not going to be easy. You know, it's going to be a derby in the bloody FA Cup, in the first match of the FA Cup, a derby match. They're going to be right up for it because they've got nothing to lose, Everton. You know, they're sitting pretty now in mid-table. They've got a couple of wins now recently, and they've got some confidence back now. So they're not going to be frightened of Liverpool. Trust me. They're going to want to turn us over because they've got an equaliser at Anfield to draw the game, and since then I think they've won 3 games, 2 or 3 games in a row. Everton, and look at us. We're drawing. We drew against Chelsea where we were leading 1-1. Then we drew against Everton. Again, we're taking the lead through Salah. We end up dropping points again. And then against West Bromwich Albion, that was just a no-show. We didn't do anything to deserve to win the game. And we're complaining that the referee didn't give the Solanke goal. Why should he give the goal? You know, this is a handball. You can't get away with this kind of stuff in professional football. This isn't Sunday League football where the referees, they don't see the position, they don't have the replay, you know. They can't see what's going on. They don't have proper linesmen and stuff. This is bloody professional football. You can't score goals with your hand and you expect to win the game like that. Come on. Solanke done well to get into that position. You know, maybe he didn't mean it. It wasn't intentional, but it touched his arm. I don't want to win the game like that. You know, I want Liverpool to win the game, deserving to win the game, playing throughout the 90 minutes as we did yesterday until, you know, when we got 2-0 up. That's how we should play. We've got the capability, so why is our defence letting us down again? And our manager, Klopp, seems to think that this defence is good enough. And he keeps making excuses for them. He keeps saying that, you know, defending is a team thing, a unit thing. Come on, Jurgen, you know, you're taking the piss now, man. What are you talking about? You're incapable of holding on to leads. You've gone 3-0 up against Sevilla in Spain. You end up drawing the game 3-3. What was that down to then? It was panic. panic, and they don't know how to hold on to the game, to win the game. They allow the opposition to get early goals in the second half, and then they get an equaliser at the end. We never looked assured in that game that we were going to win it. As soon as they got it back to 3-2, that's it. Every Liverpool fan in the world knew that we're going to concede a goal. We're going to end up drawing the game. If it had gone on for another 10 minutes, we would have lost the game after 3-3. We would have ended up losing that bloody game to Sevilla, because they're a decent team. They would have unlocked us. They would have known how to get behind us and score the goal and win the game 4-3. Same with Arsenal last night, but Arsenal are just as shit as we are at defending. That's the only way that we managed to get a draw, because if it had gone on another 10-15 minutes, we would have lost that game last night to Arsenal. You're not going to get back into the game against big teams, quality teams. This is not the right mentality to have in football. You can't keep, throwing away leads and then you expect to win a game or you expect to be successful. This is amateurish, man. This is, Sunday league football where the opposition scores and then you score, This doesn't happen in professional football. You need to be boring. As Milner said after the match, the interview that he gave to Sky Sports with Jack Wilshere standing next to him. Just be boring. Just keep the ball for 10 minutes. Just, annoy Arsenal. Stress them out so that they start making mistakes. And then when they make mistakes, you can pick them off. Finish them off, Finish the game 3-0, 4-0. We're incapable of doing it. We keep saying the same shit every week. We've been saying it for the last 3 seasons. We're just incapable of doing it under Klopp. It was the same under Rodgers, but Rodgers, we didn't actually lose that many points when we got into the lead with Rodgers. It's just when we started badly with Rodgers, we were losing games or drawing. But with Jurgen Klopp, he's lost it. He doesn't know how to put a decent defence together. He doesn't know how to give decent tactics to the players so that they follow his tactics and just be disciplined. Just win the game. You don't need to attack at every opportunity, for God's sake. You're playing away against Arsenal, one of the big teams in the league, and you're 2-0 up and you're still trying to attack. What is that about? What are we trying to showcase ourselves to the world now? As if we're Real Madrid or something, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain. Just do the basic things. Just win the game. 3 points is 3 points. It doesn't matter if you win 2-0 or if you win 6-0. It's the same. It's a league match. You need the points to get into the top 4 now, because we're not going to win the league. We're 18 points behind bloody City. It's going to be 21 points today. We took it down to 17. If they win, it goes to 20 points again. So, and we're in December. There's still 5 months to go. By the end of the season, they're going to be 40 points ahead of Liverpool. 35, 40 points ahead of Liverpool. If it carries on like this, My God. I'm fed up with this shit, I tell you, sometimes I just don't want to watch it anymore. We're going into Christmas now. We've got 2 days to go until Christmas, and look at what we're talking about on the bloody video. We should have been celebrating a victory here, after the performance, the first 50 minutes, and we've got a 3-3 draw, and we think we're thankful for it as well, because we would have lost the game. If Firmino doesn't score that goal, it bounces off Czech's arm and it goes for a corner, we lose that game. We don't even win it. We don't even draw it. Sorry. We don't even get a point out of it. We end up losing it because I don't see how Liverpool were going to get back into the game at 3-2. We still found chances with Arsenal because Arsenal just don't know how to defend as well. They're as shit as we are in defending. And they don't track their runners. They don't defend properly. That's the only way that we got into the game. If it was Manchester United, or if it was City, Tottenham, you've got no chance of coming back in the game. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my shoulder, off my chest. But how many times is this happening to us this season? I'm fed up with it, man. 3-3 against Sevilla. We're 3-0 up. We draw the game 3-3 because of our stupid defending. We take the lead against them in the Champions League. We end up drawing 2-2. We lead against Newcastle. It ends up 1-1. We take the lead against Watford in the first game of the season. We end up drawing the game 3-3. You know, so many occasions we've done the same thing. And this falls down to the manager and the training, because they don't seem to learn their mistakes. You know, they don't seem to, how do you say, they don't seem to move on another level and stop, cut out the mistakes and just go on and win the game. When you've got the quality of Salah and Coutinho, Firmino up front, Mane, you should be winning these games easily. You know, it's not as if we don't have attacking options. We can score against any team in the world. We've proved that over the last 2 years. But what is the point anymore? Because we know that our defence is going to let us down again. The longer that Mignolet stays in goal, it's just Liverpool Football Club will not win anything. We're not destined to win anything. We're not destined to be successful. It's as simple as that. You know, 2 + 2 = 4. And if Jurgen Klopp can't figure that out sooner rather than later, then in May he should go. He should be sacked, or he should resign. You know, because this is not good for Liverpool. We can't go on like this anymore. You know, it's bad enough that we have owners that don't spend any money and they think they're going to be successful, buying young shitty players, potential players that they think in the future will start to fulfill their potential and win things, and then they sell them on for a massive fee. They buy players for cheap and then they sell them on for a fee, and that they think that's the way to run a football club. You think you're going to be successful like that? You're bloody deluded, you know, the Yanks. Bloody deluded. That's what I'm telling you. God's sake, man. Just win the game. You know, you're 2-0 up. Win the game. Play it simple. Keep the ball in midfield. You know, play it back to the defenders. Frustrate Arsenal. You know, start to piss them off, because when they get pissed off, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make rash tackles and they're going to get sent off. You know, and as soon as that happens, they lose the game. When their mind goes, when they start to lose the way they play, their confidence, that's it. They lose the game. They're weak mentally. We've seen how we've done it to them in the past, how we've beaten them. You know, the last 3 games before last night, we'd smashed them. 4-3, 3-1, and then 4-0 this season. You know, that is 11 goals we've scored against them in 3 games. 11 goals. And we scored another 3 yesterday, but we somehow managed to draw the game in a game that we should have won easily. You know, and you've still got fans looking on the bright side. You know, they're even more deluded, the idiots. What is there to look on the bright side of this? You know, now we've got Swansea coming up on Boxing Day. Do you have any confidence in that game? Swansea are bottom of the bloody league, and you wait and see. If Liverpool make mistakes again, they'll lose that game as well. As we did last season, they were bottom of the league last season when we played them. And what happens? They came to Anfield and won the fucking game. You know, why do we even think that we're going to beat these teams with this defence? You know, as soon as you put some height into the team, some physical attributes, Liverpool just crumble. They can't handle it. Yeah, and it starts with the goalkeeper, because none of the defenders have any belief in Mignolet. You know, Gomez is a young player. He's been out for 2 years, 1 year, 2 years. He's come back from injury. He's doing pretty well this season, but he's still learning the game. He doesn't know what he's doing at certain points in the game in defence. Klavan is a decent, solid defender. He doesn't make too many mistakes, but he's slow. He's very slow. He doesn't know how to. He can't keep up with the good players in the league. He can't keep them out. Lovren is like a ticking time bomb. I've tried to defend him in my last video, the Bournemouth game, but last night again, I'm watching him and he's panicking. You know, every time the ball comes to him, a pass comes to him, he doesn't know what to do with the ball. He just wants to get rid of it. You know, he doesn't have any composure on the ball. He doesn't know how to suck players in and then just pass it to his teammate, and then we move on to another attack. Instead, he just lumps it forward and he gives the ball back to Arsenal, and that's what he done the entire game. You know, Robertson was the only one who gave me any confidence. Young Robertson done very well. You know, his crosses into the area, his runs into the opposition half of the pitch, his passes, everything was pretty good from Robertson. But Gomez made the mistake for 1 goal. Mignolet for the second goal, and then I can't remember who made the mistake for the third goal. It was a brilliant move from Arsenal. I can't say anything about the third goal. They deserved to score that one. But before that, Mignolet, how can you even try to do that in goal? Try and punch the ball with one hand, one arm. It's just ridiculous, man, for an international goalkeeper. He plays for the Belgium national team. He used to, but now Courtois has taken over. Why do you think Courtois has taken over? Because he's a more assured goalkeeper. He's a more, trustworthy goalkeeper. Mignolet is just, he's lost the plot. He's panicked stations. And before every game, he's putting messages onto bloody Twitter. Oh, come on, lads, we're going to win this. 3 points for the Reds, against Bournemouth. He does that. So why don't you just you concentrate on your own game and stop making mistakes in goal, for fuck's sake? Forget about Twitter and the social media. Just concentrate on playing football. Try and become a better goalkeeper. Watch videos of what mistakes you've done in games and try and rectify the mistakes. And you're trying to show off on bloody Twitter and Facebook. You muppet. God's sake, man. I don't even want to slate my players, Liverpool players, but do you blame me after these kind of performances? What do you expect me to say as a Liverpool fan? We can't say anything, We try to defend this team down to the ground out of the love for the club, for Liverpool Football Club. But what is the point anymore? Because they don't learn their mistakes. They don't learn from their mistakes. They don't learn from, errors that they make. They're just doing the same thing every match. Bar a couple of matches, it just keeps going. It's like a cycle. They just keep going back to the same point, and then it's another capitulation, another collapse, and then we lose games. We draw games. Just when we think we're getting back into a bit of form, we're getting back into some rhythm, they go and do this again to Liverpool fans. I'm disappointed. I'm deflated, as some people said on, YouTube, the football banter show, Drifty and Matt, I listen to their reviews, and the Redmen TV, but the Redmen TV, they don't even take it seriously, for God's sake. Paul and Chris, it's like they're just puppets on that show. They don't know what they're doing. Their analysis of the game is not good. They don't speak the truth, and they don't criticise FSG. So if you're not going to criticise FSG, then how can you be true Liverpool supporters? What has FSG done to Liverpool Football Club that makes you think that they're we're going to be successful? What have they actually spent in the time they've been here? Nothing. That's why we're in this situation. Why don't they get rid of the deadwood and then buy a couple of defenders, good defenders? They don't even have to be brilliant. Just make them reliable. Buy some reliable players that you can trust them in defence. They're not likely to, make a stupid mistake that will lead to us conceding goals. And buy a decent goalkeeper, whether it be English or a foreign goalkeeper, and that's it sorted out, And a defensive midfielder. Henderson gets injured, and we look better when he came off. I don't even want to slate Henderson, but it's the truth. We have to speak the truth as Liverpool supporters. We can't kid ourselves, We can't keep closing our eyes to the problems. Milner came on, he looked much better than Henderson. And Milner's like 33 years old, 32 years old, and he plays better than Henderson. Henderson's gone, and he's injured now. God knows what's going to happen. Maybe he's going to be out again for another month or 2 months. With this this chronic heel injury he keeps picking up, it's just going to debilitate him even more. He's not going to get back to his best. I was hoping that Keita may come in January, but it's not going to happen. We have to wait until the summer now. Because we don't plan ahead. Klopp doesn't plan ahead. He keeps thinking because he plays attacking, fluent football, he's going to win the games. It doesn't work like that, Jurgen, in this league. You've been here for 3 years. Have you not seen that your heavy metal football at times doesn't work? You need to be more pragmatic. You need to keep the ball. You need to control games when you take the lead. This is what big teams do. This is what the Liverpool of old used to do. This is what the Liverpool of the 80s used to do, the 90s. Just keep the ball and then frustrate the opposition and they would find a way to score anyway because they're so good. They were so good going forwards, the midfield and the strikers. We would win the games, and they knew that they had a solid base behind them, a solid defence, a good goalkeeper. You know, and look at what we've got now. We've got bloody Mignolet in goal, looking like a clown from the circus. You've got Lovren and Klavan, you know. Klavan, I can't really, you know, say too many bad things about Klavan. I think he's done well past, you know, 3 or 4 games. He's done well in the absence of Matip. You know, Matip comes back into the defence. It's going to be the same because with Lovren next to you and you've got Mignolet behind you, you know, he loses his confidence, Matip. When he's good, he's very good, but because of the people that he's got next to him, the players he's got next to him, it just, you know, he turns into them. He starts to copy what they're doing. He starts making mistakes like them, like Lovren and Mignolet. And it just, instead of getting better, it just becomes worse, season on season. And we still think that we shouldn't be buying any players in January. Why not? You know, what have Liverpool rectified in defence and goalkeeper position that we think that we shouldn't be buying anyone? The whole world is telling us, you know, the pundits, the newspapers, the channels on YouTube, the other supporters, everyone is saying the same thing. You need to buy 2 centre-backs. You need to buy a goalkeeper. You need to get someone in midfield who can control the game, who can win you games on his own. Because when you control games, the opposition, they know that they can't get back into it. And they give up after a while, after trying for a while. They give up. But with our players, we seem to give opposition teams, we seem to give them, you know, confidence to go on and attack us, to score goals. And it was evident last night. As soon as it went to 2-1, you could see our team. They just fell apart. Everyone fell apart. From the midfield to the defence, to the goalkeeper. They crumble, you know, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of crossing from left and right, free kicks, this and that, and it's over. Liverpool have lost the plot, you know. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing on the pitch. And you see Jurgen Klopp sitting there going, come on, you know, keep your heads up and this and that. How can they keep their heads up, Jurgen, when they keep conceding these stupid goals, you know? This has happened too many times now this season. Too many times. If it happens once a season, we can take it, you know, once or twice. But maybe this season we've done it 5 or 10 times during the games this season. We've done it against Sevilla. We did it against Watford. You know, we've done it against Sevilla in the Champions League again, the home game where we were leading 2-1. Should have won the game 3-1. Firmino missed the penalty. And then we conceded in the final minutes, you know, the final 10 minutes to draw the game. And again last night, Arsenal didn't even play well. If they played well and they deserved to get a point, you'd say fair enough, you know, it's an away game. Both teams played well and they deserve to get an equaliser or to, you know, to get a point from the game. But they didn't even play well. You know, they had like a 10-minute spell, 5-10 minutes, and they're able to score 3 goals against us. It just doesn't make any bloody sense. Liverpool Football Club is supposed to be a professional football team. And they can't even, you know, they can't even hold on to leads. We're turning into bloody mid-table teams, bottom of the league teams who panic. You know, you'd see the small teams go to away games against big teams and then they take a surprise lead. And then, you know, coming into the last 10 minutes of the game, they lose the game. They concede an equaliser and then they concede a second goal and they lose it. Because they don't have the mentality, they don't have the quality to hold on to a lead. And that's what's happening to Liverpool. I'm starting to think that from us now. We don't have the quality anymore. We need to change the defence completely. You know, we can't even rely on the young players. You know, Joe Gomez, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. We can't put this much pressure on them to keep out the opposition. It's the 2 experienced centre-backs that need to be put under the spotlight and the goalkeeper. If we had a decent, you know, centre-back, 2 centre-backs, and a commanding goalkeeper, this would never happen to Liverpool. You know, Arsenal may have come at us after 2-0, but they wouldn't have been able to break us down, I don't think. And then, you know, with the quality we've got on the wings going forward, we would have won the game again, scored more goals. But, you know, I feel sorry for Salah. I feel sorry for Coutinho, Firmino, because they put in all that effort, all these great skills, all these great goals, for what? For nothing. And then they come away from a game they should have won with a point, with 1 point, a draw. You know, this has happened to them like 10 times this season, 5 to 10 times. And after a while, you just lose your confidence. Even the strikers, they start losing their confidence because they feel that even if they score, the team is not going to be able to keep a lead. Anyway, I've been rambling for too long now. You know, it doesn't matter how many times we talk about this. It doesn't matter how many times we rant about this. The same things just keep happening with Liverpool. You know, it's been happening since the 13-14 season. You know, it's been 4 years now, 3 to 4 years, and we're still making the same stupid mistakes in defence. We're still liable to collapse at any moment in a game, and allow the opponent to get back into the game. Whoever it is, you know, it could be bloody Southampton, it could be bottom of the league team, could be West Brom, could be Manchester United, could be Watford, could be Manchester City. You know, Liverpool are just liable to do it against anyone. And to think that we're going to get past Porto, it's not going to be easy at all in February, especially with the way we've collapsed in this game. This is going to have a knock-on effect now for the next 2 or 3 games, until they get their confidence back again. And then, you know, what's going to happen? We start getting on the roll again, and then another game's going to come up for us, and we're going to make the same stupid mistakes again and end up throwing the game away. Because this is what Liverpool are now, the defence. It's just a bloody shambles. And with our manager incapable of teaching them how to defend properly, it's not going to get any better, Liverpool fans. It's not going to get any better. Trust me. It's liable to get worse. Forget about getting any better. This is going to end up costing Jurgen Klopp his job at the end of the day. Because you can't manage Liverpool Football Club like this, man. You cannot do it. Kenny Dalglish had a decent team at Liverpool. You know, he won the League Cup. He got us to the FA Cup final in 11-12 season, 2011-2012 season. And we finished the league, I think, 7th or 8th. But our defence was not this bad at that time. You know, Dalglish knew how to make Liverpool solid. When he came in after Hodgson, he got us up to, I think it was up to 5th. And then the next year, he went on to win the League Cup and get to the FA Cup final. You know, we may not have performed in some league games, but he didn't have a great squad, Dalglish. And even they were better drilled, better organised than this team. You know, the players that we had. I've got the DVD of those seasons. I've watched them over again. And, you know, it might be the highlights, but, you know, you can still see that the team was well drilled. They were well organised. And they were clinical going forwards in the cup competitions and in the league, in some league games. But this team, you know, they've made mistakes all over the place. They're already out. We're already out of the League Cup to Leicester in a game we should have won. We dominated again, and we conceded, stupid goals and lost the game 2-0. And now all we've got left for is the Champions League and the FA Cup, and we're not going to win the Champions League. No way, no way on this earth that we're going to win the Champions League with this defence. If they do not shore up the defence in January, they're not going to win nothing. They're not even going to get past Porto. You know, trust me, I don't want to be negative, pessimistic. But, you know, with this defence, they're not going to beat Porto. You know? It's not going to happen. And even if they do beat Porto, the next round, the quarter-final, they're going to get knocked out. As soon as they come up against a good team, a solid team, defensively and going forward, a good attacking team in Europe, we're going to get knocked out. And that leaves you with one trophy, the FA Cup. And we need to pray that we get a decent draw after Everton. That's if we beat Everton. You know, the way we're going at the moment, that's not even guaranteed. We could end up fucking that game up as well. We could end up getting knocked out of that game, of the FA Cup. And then Klopp has nothing to play for, Liverpool. What excuses is he going to use from now on then, Jurgen Klopp? You know, we don't defend as a team. Come on, Jurgen. You know, you're taking the piss now. We don't defend as a team. It's the defence that's supposed to be doing the defending, not the midfielders, the strikers. How are you supposed to score goals if you pull your strikers back into midfield? You know, you keep them there so that they can cause a threat to the opposition. And then the midfield, some of the midfield and the defence does the job, the defensive job. And the goalkeeper has to catch the ball. He has to be able to save the ball. In positions that he should be saving, he doesn't save the ball. He concedes goals, Mignolet. The third goal, instead of staying on his feet and trying to make it difficult for Ozil, he's lying on the floor and Ozil just thinks it over him. He knows, because they all know Mignolet's weaknesses. The entire league know Mignolet's weaknesses. You know, the world knows Mignolet's weaknesses in goal. And every time they put him under pressure, he collapses. He concedes goals. I don't know what to say anymore. You know, I'm bloody fed up with Liverpool. I just want to have a good Christmas now, get it over and done with, and then Boxing Day, you know, we go again. We keep saying the same shit, you know, Liverpool fans. We've got this little, you know, theory that we think we're gonna regroup again and go again. But how many times? How many times are you going to lose the lead and then you think you're going to go up? You know, you're going to get your confidence back and start winning. Every time you do this, it puts us back another 10 games, 5 to 10 games. You know, we're only fortunate that we're playing Swansea, but that's not even guaranteed a victory, because Swansea need the points now and they've lost their manager. They're going to come to Anfield now and defend for their lives, as every other team does when they come to Anfield, the smaller teams. And then, you know, on the 30th, we play Leicester. Leicester could easily score against us. They've got, you know, Mahrez. They've got Vardy. They've got a good team, Leicester, a decent team. They're in 7th or 8th position in the league. They're not even doing that badly. This team was champions of England 2 years ago, don't forget. You know, they're not a shit team, Leicester. And we just think that we're going to roll teams over. It doesn't work like that. You know, we speak too early, our fans. We give it all the mouth. We think we're going to do this and that. We're going to win everything. And then when this happens, we become shocked. You know, we think that we don't understand how it happens, how we collapse. But we should be expecting it, because this has happened to Liverpool so many times now over the past 3 or 4 years. You know, I'd rather it happen now, because I don't want to get to a cup final or an important European match and then we lose it in the final or the semi-final this way, as we did last night at Arsenal. It will just, Liverpool fans will just be, you know, they'll lose themselves if this happens again. We can't cope with it anymore, our fan base. So many disappointments over the past, you know, 27 years. We've had our successes. We've won, you know, FA Cups, League Cups. We've won a European Cup, got to another final. But, you know, most of the seasons have just been average. We haven't achieved anything. We've just been languishing in, you know, 6th, 7th, 8th. We haven't done anything over these seasons. We're nowhere near winning the league. You know, we were nearer to winning it in the 90s than we are now. You know, 95, 96, 97. This period we were closer to winning the league than we are now in 2017. You know, it's just ridiculous. You're supposed to move on. You're supposed to become better season on season, not go backwards. And because of the owners that we have, the idiots that we have as owners, and they don't spend any money on players, we're not going to improve at the back. And if you don't improve at the back, then you're not going to win anything. It's as simple as that. You know, people can tell me that we're good going forward. Yeah, we know we're good going forward. We've known that for 3 years now. So what have we won then? Since Jurgen Klopp's been manager, what have we won? Nothing. We've got to 2 cup finals. We lost them. We bottled them again against City and against Sevilla. The penalty shootout, they weren't confident against City at Wembley when we lost. They were 1-0 up against Sevilla in the Europa League final in May 2015. 1-0 up at half time, looking confident, looking good. And then we concede a goal after 15 seconds in the second half and we capitulate. We lose 3-1. And we throw the Europa League away. We give it to Sevilla. And they qualify for the Champions League automatically. And we're left with shit. You know. Anyway, Liverpool fans, I don't want to give you a headache. That's enough of the ranting. Next match is against Swansea at Anfield. Another game we have to win. If Jurgen Klopp is incapable of changing the defence or to make them better, then it's time for him to go. Just get rid of him. Put in a former Liverpool player. Put in Gerrard. Put in Gerrard and give him a couple of assistants. Maybe Carragher and maybe some other players. Robbie Fowler can be his assistants, and just carry on with that management team until the end of the season. It's not going to be any worse than what we're doing now. I think they would do better. I really do. Carragher, if he was defensive coach at Liverpool, we wouldn't be conceding this amount of goals. It's just ludicrous to think that we had such great players, and now the defenders that we have are bloody shit. They can't defend to save their bloody lives. Why? Why are they not rectifying their mistakes? They don't take it seriously. Then you get rid of them. You throw them out the club. You terminate their contracts and just tell them to bugger off. Go and find another team. And put in some young players, put in some team players from the under-23 team. They would probably do better than the defence we've got now, Anyway, we move on to Swansea now and Leicester, 2 games in the space of 4 days. We need to get 6 points. Otherwise, top 4 is looking shaky. We could have put a gap between ourselves and Arsenal now, a 4-point gap, but it's only 1 point again. And if Burnley or Tottenham win today, Burnley catch us if they win. They go level on points, but they can't overtake us. We've got a better goal difference. And if Tottenham win, they bring it down to 1 point, the gap between us and them. So, yeah, we just have to hope now and see what happens in the rest of the games on the weekends. But anyway, Liverpool fans, I hope you enjoy, your Christmas Day and your New Year's. And yeah, what can we say? We just hope for the best, with Liverpool. But is the best going to be good enough? That's what I'm starting to think anymore. Is our best going to be good enough to actually win games? To actually win us a trophy this season? I don't think it is, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Like the video, subscribe to it, and make your comments in the comments section. And it will be very much appreciated, Thank you very much. And I'll talk to you later on. See you later on.